Welcome to Shawnee Grows, where we chat about gardening. We get to show off our gardens when it's not frozen tundra outside. I want to ask you all a question. How many food recalls were there in 2024? Now, I'm talking about the United States of America, but if you have data on where you are from and it's outside of that, I'd love to hear it. Put your guess in the chat or in the description. I want to hear, how many food recalls do you think there were in 2024? I have the number here. The USDA recorded 1,908 food recalls in 2024 in the United States of America. So tonight's topic is Let's Get Growing in 2025 Beginner Planting List. Team replay, I want to hear from you. What would you tell a first-year gardener to plant? What did you plant yourself in that first year? Be honest, okay? Let's see who's in the chat. We have Amaponian. Hello from Venezuela. Amaponian, if you're still here, what would you grow as a beginner gardener where you are? Storms, radios, and cats, hello. Welcome to this. What is your weather doing? We have -2 and a snowstorm on its way. Not a lot, just 3 inches, I think. Hopefully we get. I'd love more. I would take more. Newfound Drone Productions. Hello, welcome to tonight's conversation. Miss Sharon is here. Hello, hello. So far, we talked about how many food recalls were there in 2024 in the United States of America, and the answer was 1,908, which leads us to tonight's topic, Let's Get Growing in 2025, Beginner Planting List. So, you need to ask yourself, what are you growing in? Containers? Raised beds? In the ground? As a beginner, we're all reminding ourselves and beginners to grow what you like to eat and grow what thrives in your climate. That kind of requires some conversations with others, some research, some books, some videos, some podcasts. You got to figure it out. I'd like to talk about my list for my Zone 5 life. My list of seeds to directly put in the ground is in the legume nitrogen fixer family. I would do a bush green bean and a pea. I would like shelling peas. And if I didn't have any kind of idea of how to do a trellis structure, I would just plant a dwarfy one that just gets like 12 to 18 inches tall. And usually it'll say on it like no trellis required. For a root crop, your radish is a very quick, successful, I grew something moment. But if you don't eat radish, don't plant it. For a vine, cucumber is a winner. Leafy greens, a leaf lettuce. So as it grows, you can just harvest a leaf off of it and it'll keep growing out the center. For herbs, I'd say parsley. For flowers, because we always have to have our flowers, I would say sunflower, zinnia, and nasturtium. For that first time grower, to buy a started plant from a nursery to then transplant into the ground, my list would be chamomile, tomatoes, peppers, basil. So now we are going to see what others have on their list, okay? What did you actually plant your first year, or what's your words of wisdom for people? Maybe add your zone in there. And I would like to hear, would you add perennials to a beginner growers list? Because we all know how important they are, just like trees. You should have planted it yesterday. And I do have 3 articles to see what they say on what a beginner gardener should grow. Newfound Drum Production says lettuce for a beginner. Miss Sharon is reminding everyone, live chatter all messages, y'all. Storms, Radios, and Cats is saying evening greetings to folks. While you guys type your ideas, I'm going to share my articles and we'll come back together again. So, this article is talking about baby greens, like a masculine mix, talking about kale, arugula, mustard greens. Well, okay, that's pretty brave. That's a pretty flavorful blend. Then they're speaking about peas, which I fully agree with. You have different types of peas. Shelling peas, you eat the inside, not the outside. Snap or snow peas, you eat the whole thing. Green beans is next on their list. That's what a green bean looks like. We want to eat them in this stage. If you let the bean get too big inside, everything gets tough. Cucumbers they have on their list. Basil, still on the list for best crops for beginners. Parsley was the next one. Radish. It's one of those winners. 30 days after you put that seed in and it germinates, you'll have food to eat. So it's good for kids too. But it might be hard to get the kid to eat the radish. Who knows? It's a lot easier for them to eat things that they've grown. Squash, it says the summer squash type. So that's your zucchini for beginners. Most people harvest them when they're much smaller. And I'm thinking, is it the zucchini that people also call courgettes? Or is that eggplant? That might be eggplant. Potatoes is on the list for beginners. Wow. They are easy to grow. I suppose set it and forget it, right? Small fruited tomatoes. So that would be cherry, grape, or plum. This person is suggesting for beginner growers. If you're a southern gardener, we're also adding in okra and sweet potatoes. All right. Over here we have a suggested crops list for easy to grow, first time beginners. That first year head lettuce. They said head lettuce. That's where you have the whole head. It's giving us the botanical name, sun requirements, height, and hardiness zones. So this is a great source for you to read. Link is in the description. Next crop on their list is carrots, root vegetable. Now, I beg to differ that this is an easy crop to grow for a first timer, but maybe that's just because of my location. It's not easy for me. Here's the next crop. They're talking about cherry tomatoes. They stay very well on the shelf. Like once you take it off the plant, they stay ready to eat for a long time. Cucumbers is the next one. There's all kinds of cucumbers out there, ones that are mini munchers for pickling, ones that are burpless, seedless for slicing, ones that are juicy for juicing. You can harvest them at almost any stage. You don't want them to get too big. I kind of want the cucumber to be a size that when I cut it open, I can eat the whole thing in one sitting. I don't want to have to like cut it in half and then put it back in the fridge. They're putting kale on their list for easy crops to grow for beginners. There's red Russian kale. There's dinosaur kale, otherwise known as lacinato. It's one of those you harvest from the bottom and keep going up as the new leaf growth happens. Would you guys say it's a beginner vegetable? That's one that you would probably buy a start from at the store, and understanding the timing is important. The bush green beans. Bush means it doesn't need support. It's not a pole bean. Pole bean means it needs support to grow and climb on. Bush beans, you'll harvest the first ones and then it'll keep producing flowers and put another harvest out for you. You don't have to pull the plant after the first harvest. Think of all the stuff you get for just one seed in the ground, as far as a harvest. Spinach, I would not put on my list for beginner crops just because it doesn't grow well here. It's sensitive to things. It is best grown during cold winter months, but I just Not a fan. I grow other greens for that. No, this list also says potatoes. It says it's one of the easiest root vegetables for beginners to grow. All right. It sure is tasty. I could do a lot with potatoes. Sugar snap peas. That's where you eat the pod and the pea inside. There's what that looks like on the plant. Miss Sharon says peas usually do well. I agree. Curious Cat made it in. Welcome to this. We're discussing what do you guys think beginner gardeners should grow? And what led us to this conversation, you might ask? Well, how many food recalls were there in 2024 in the United States of America? USDA reported 1,908 food recalls. So we're going to get growing in 2025. We're going to get beginner gardeners out there and plant some seeds. Yeah. We've got some more Swiss chard. Well, how many of you would say Swiss chard is what someone should grow in the beginning? It says it's a beautiful, nutrient-dense, leafy green vegetable. Another easy choice, it claims. Hello, South Florida sunshine. Oh, here we go. I agree carrots are difficult out the gate for a new gardener. I agree 100%. I would not say, here, beginner gardener that wants success to plant a carrot. I think peas and beans vining are fun. Spinach, heck no. I heard kale does well, though, for beginners. Curious Cat says, I have never been good at growing spinach. Yeah, I grow substitutes like Kamatsuna, Shijumitsu, Tatsoi. Those are all green leafy spinach replacements that are way better, way tastier. You know what I mean? Let's see. Beets. Bright stemmed veggies are good for cool season gardening. Well, I could see that beets are rewarding when you plant one beet seed, there's more than one beet that will grow from that. South Florida Sunshine says, I love Swiss chard as a juicing green, but still not have timed it right. Our heat is kooky that way. Oh, yeah. Your lovely seed time calendar will tell you when to put Swiss chard in the ground now, huh? Curious Cat says, beets and turnips and radishes. I do encourage a beginner gardener to pick some kind of root, right? Something. In Florida, we grow tropical spinach alternatives. Is there like names for these alternatives you have? Because I definitely am not experienced in the hot growing weather. Jalapenos, only if you want a spicy hot pepper grown for beginners. Okay. They're useful. People usually know how to use them. There's something that's at the grocery store and they're familiar with it. There's the radish. Again, that was on the last list we were on. It's definitely one of those winners. 30 days. What do we got here? Storms, radios, and cats. The Florida heat is from all those beachgoers in spaghetti bathing suits. They're radiating. All right. Carol says, yes, I freaking missed so much on seed time and see some are a bit off as they will bolt. You missed so much on seed time. Like you missed your planting window for the first succession, but maybe next succession you'll be available. Jalapenos are easier, and okra, that was definitely mentioned for Southern Hemisphere, was okra. If you eat it, green onions, low maintenance, easy, flavorful vegetable to grow. That's what they look like. Summer squash. Is it going to load? Well, that wasn't the image I was thinking it would show. If you have the space, several varieties of summer squash grow well. Yep, the last one mentioned that darn zucchini that I don't grow and I refuse to. So the summer squash is in the Cucurbita pepo family. I don't know what that one is. Anything from patty pan to crooked neck is a summer squash. There's tips on these. Oh, there's that zucchini, the dreaded zucchini. Who's your host? What? Are you asking if I'm okay? More words. Curious Cat says, I tried growing patty pan squash, got lots of flowers, but no fruit. Would anyone like to talk to Curious Cat about what's happening? I'm thinking there's a couple things here with squash. Usually there's a male and a female flower, and they need to have pollination together in order to produce the fruit. Do you have pollinators in your garden? Yep, missed for succession and cool weather crops because South Florida got down only below 40 for 2 days. I think it was also my beds were not ready. Yeah, timing. It's okay. It's okay. You'll get it the next one. Miss Sharon says curly, kale, okra, and squash did good last year. No one had cucumbers. Way too much heat. Curious Cat says, I'm thinking no pollinators were around. Well, we've got to fix that, Curious Cat. More flowers. Yes, thank you for verifying that you could hear me and see this because I got a little nervous there for a second. I wonder if it didn't start loading for him. Curious Cat says I had, but still had to try to hand pollinate. Yeah. Curious Cat, I was in Texas last year, now Ohio. Well, that's a way different zone, I'm sure, for you. I was right, it didn't auto start. Oh, I'm so sorry, Barry. Welcome back to the party. Hopefully you're here. Fox at Outdoors says you should grow Peter peppers. That's funny. If anyone's ever seen what Peter peppers looks like, you might get why I'm making a winky face. Good to see you, Cliff. I'm going to keep going with this suggested list. That was the pie pumpkin, sugar pie pumpkin. A lettuce mix is on this beginner grower list. Direct sow the seeds in a trench or a square foot garden planting suggestion. Celery. I would not put this on a. That celery looks funny. That almost looks like celeriac at the bottom. I agree that homegrown celery is amazing, but I would not put it on a beginner growers list whatsoever. If you are going to do it, you should buy the started plant at the nursery. Okay. South Florida Sunshine says we had the problem with not getting cool. We got flowers on our fruit trees and our pollinators did not show because of the 2-week snap of cooler weather. The weather messed it all up. Oh, broccoli? I would not put this on an easy. I still have yet to grow broccoli. This is just there's a thing with beginner growers is you don't do too much at once, okay? You don't plant all the things, you don't get a giant space, you just start really small. You pick things that you know you're going to eat. Usually that means the seed is large. Things that have large seed easier to grow. This is talking about a salad turnip. Look at that. Wow. Who likes turnips here? How do you eat them? Pea shoots. We could do 2 plantings of peas, one in the spring, one in the fall. Onions, I definitely wouldn't put on the list for first-time growers. What? Nope. Uh, definitely not. I still have trouble with the onions. Shallots, maybe. Yes, that's more. I get that. Is there any more? Eggplant. Who eats eggplant here? Anybody? If you live in a warm area, eggplants are perfect for beginner gardeners. Okay. It's like a bush, isn't it? And it puts out eggplants. You just keep picking them and it keeps producing them. They're tropical. They don't like frost. Yep. Fennel. I don't. I don't dig the fennel at all. It is an ingredient in one of my favorite teas, but other than that, not a fan. Turnips smell like farts, everyone. And we have a consensus that yes, they do. Green onions, yes, for starters. BS, eggplant is a pain in the arse to grow here. Yeah, I'm not down with growing eggplant whatsoever. And green onions you can do from kitchen scraps. If you don't know what she's talking about, go to YouTube and type that in, and you'll see it. It is true. Garlic is an interesting one to put down for beginner growers. If you have the timing and the kind figured out, then yeah, because you just plant it and forget it for a long while. Even if you forgot to plant it on time, you can still plant it later. You just have a smaller, young, new garlic to plant. Don't get wrong, I've grown eggplant, but I'm not getting them huge. Well, and you know what I think, Cliff? Who says it has to be huge? Like, first of all, different varieties do different shaped things and have different colors and have different purposes. I don't think, same with the zucchini conversation, they don't need to get big. You know what I mean? It's still food when it's at a more manageable size, right? Eggplant grows, South Florida sunshine here, but no one in my family will eat it. Yeah, I don't want to eat it. Garlic is easy, says Curious Cat. YouTube, what is the YouTube you speak of? Are there any more on this list? This list just is going on and on and on. It's talking about not cabbage. We can't put cabbage on a beginner's list. What? Who wrote this? Nope. I still have yet to grow a nice big head of cabbage. Watermelon is something I want to grow this year, and I also would not say it's a beginner crop. It's very rewarding if you like watermelon. Not everybody on the planet can have a watermelon. South Florida Sunshine says those are newer seed varieties to Cliff that they had perfected. We supposedly get older varieties. So with backyard gardeners, we get a different seed bank than a commercial vegetable farmer. We have a different. Oh, I agree. Winter squash, yeah, for a beginner gardener. So this is a butternut. Butternut. Winter squash is grown in the summer, but it gets this harder, tough, woody skin on it, so it can go on your shelf in the house with a certain temperature environment. Check out our live stream called Surviving, what is it called? Hunger Gap? Surviving the Hunger Gap. We talked about what to grow for storage crops and how to store them, even if you don't think you have a place to store them. Check it out. Here we go. Grant McIntosh, welcome. We are talking about what should a beginner gardener grow? What is on their list? Thank you all for the thumbs up. Thank you all for being here. Carol says, I did start watermelon and grew when I was little. Here in my area, something eats my sprouts. Storm says, I love all squash. This is a really long list that I do not recommend. This is one more list we have here from the Farmer's Almanac. It says lettuce, green beans, radish, tomatoes by transplant, zucchini, peppers by transplant, beets, carrots are not a beginner vegetable, guys. Chard, spinach, kale, and peas. Marigolds. Marigolds is the flower that they chose. So, definitely don't agree with these lists. Now, if you missed it, I showed my list for my brain, what I think should happen for a beginner gardener. I'm in zone 5. I listed seeds to direct sow and stuffed plants, baby plants to buy at a nursery. Now, I did ask ChatGPT its thoughts, okay? So it broke it down. We have the Northern Hemisphere. If we're talking about the cool weather crops, definitely the beginner should grow lettuce, kale, spinach, radish, peas, carrots again. Why is everyone saying that? They're not that easy. Warm weather crops, tomatoes, zucchini, beans, peppers, cucumbers, and for herbs, parsley, chives, and thyme. Then ChatGPT for the Southern Hemisphere said the same stuff, just not at the right time. Not at the same time. Pick your right time, right? In tropical climates, it said you should be growing heat-tolerant crops like okra, eggplant, sweet potatoes, chili peppers. Here, it did list perennials. I had asked earlier, do we suggest to a beginner gardener perennials? Yes or no? What do you think? Bananas, pineapples, taro, papaya, herbs, lemongrass, basil, and cilantro. In a rainforest climate, shade-tolerant crops for a beginner gardener, according to ChatGPT: ginger, turmeric, taro, cacao. Fast-growing greens: amaranth, water spinach, and then in the herbs category, mint and oregano. Thoughts, everyone? What are we thinking? Fox at Outdoors says acorn squash / winter squash. Fun to grow and good yield if you care for your plants. Carol says, I like acorn, just hard as heck to cut it. Grant McIntosh reminds everyone only what you will eat. I can grow a lot of pretty vegetables that my family won't eat. Now, there are people out there that just love to grow large amounts of things, and they know they aren't going to get through it all, or they have this situation where they know they're good at growing it, they know they can grow it, but no one's going to eat it. Well, do I suggest a beginner gardener to do that? No, but as you go on the years, you can find an outsource for things. You can start a little food stand. You can either charge money or give it away for free. You could just drive it down to your local, either a church or a food bank or a food, what are there other words for those places? Are those the only words? Food bank? And see if they'll take donations. If you're brave and you want to sell them at the farmer's market, right? You can share them with a neighbor. Fox at Outdoors, I started with carrots. Took me a little over 2 seasons to get it relatively right. Yeah, I definitely don't say carrots for a beginner gardener. I did want to hear from you guys. What did you grow your first year? I know I bought transplants for tomatoes, peppers. I know I direct sowed cucumbers and peas and green beans and lettuce, zinnias, sunflowers, marigolds. I don't remember if I did calendula and nasturtium my first year or not. Potatoes. Trying to think of what was back there because I did it back in the backyard. That's when I discovered there isn't enough sun back there for all the heat-loving crops, and I had to expand. I know we planted strawberries right away because I understood from when I was little, like the benefit of having strawberries in my area. Someone needs to have a chat with ChatGPT. Curious Cat, bananas are supposed to be very easy. You can cut them down and they will regrow. We have a banana expert in the chat, everyone, and she does have videos and stuff about it. Or is it just shorts? I don't remember. South Florida Sunshine is who I'm referring to. Cacao sounds like a jungle bird call. Cacao! I have a book that's about bird sounds, and so then you just pretend you're a bird making sounds. It tells you how to do the sound. That's fun to read with the kids. Grow for friends and family as well. Pantry. Farmer's market. I grow food for immediate family, extended family, and even my neighbors. I set up my first year this past summer. Well, let's hear about it. What went well? If you want to talk about what went not good, you can talk about that too. Are you going to plant stuff similarly this next time you grow? Farming nature's way. Hello, hello. So I'm going to show this again since we have some new people in. How many food recalls were there in 2024? Throw your numbers in the chat. What do you think? If you already know the answer, don't ruin it for everyone. Because I've talked about this a couple times now. This was my inspiration for talking about this, was this number. The number is in the United States of America. The USDA reported 1,908 food recalls in 2024. So let's get growing in 2025. We're talking about the beginner planting list. That's why we're here tonight. Tell us your stories. What is your advice for local growers near you? South Florida Sunshine says, yes, I would agree. Perennials, warm weather alternatives, and tropicals. I think I mentioned some of them on my annual garden. Food, Forest, and Orchard Live. Yes, check out. I don't know what the title is of that. What was the title of that live stream? Save it to your watch later. After we're done here, check it out. Okay, Foxed Outdoors Everbearing Strawberries is a good starter. Little yields, but they keep going all season. It's hard to believe that strawberries don't go everywhere because they grow so well here. It's hard for me to imagine that, but apparently not all places grow strawberries very well. Jack Beanstalk, welcome to this. Shawnee, Miss Sharon, everyone, good evening. Was in garden. Ooh, what were you doing out in the garden? We're just talking about what would you tell a beginner gardener? Like a plant list. And what did you plant your first year growing? Grant McIntosh, first 2 weeks were the best. Lost momentum as the heat of summer. Don't we all? Don't we all dread the bugs and the heat? It's one of those where you kind of set it and forget it if you want crops. Like, you're on your own. Foxed Outdoors says, in my area, I'm trying to get more of my neighbors to garden. I love that. I'll be helping them as they go and grow. Growing your best garden resolutions, something like that was one of our live streams. And we talked about all sorts of ways to like spread it in your community. Little, big, free, cost, things that cost money, all the ways to help encourage people to garden. We also had a live stream with Unique Prepping, Diva in the Dirt, and South Florida Sunshine that I have co-streamed onto my channel. It was Your Brain on Gardening, maybe is what I titled it, and it talks about all the benefits of the mind and body with gardening. Catch the replay if you haven't, and the history of how gardening can really help all humans. Okay, we gave a list of situations, horticulture. Check it out. Farming Nature's Way says, Shawnee Grows, saw you today at AEA. I don't know what AEA is. I'm really bad when things are chunked down into like the first letters of stuff. I'm really not hip with. I don't know what you're saying. What is AEA? You know how many if it's a live stream, I don't remember. Tell me what that is. South Florida Sunshine. Here we get thrips and other bugs that swarm my strawberries. Right? Yeah. See. Now there are parts of Florida that it works fine. I'm literally getting a truckload delivered to our town tomorrow of strawberries. It's going to be delicious. Grant McIntosh. I only sold out of my backyard garden raised beds. I bought some land for this year. Hey. Land. Jack Beanstalk indoor garden mostly starts. So I definitely say for a beginner gardener, don't start things inside. Just direct sow or buy a transplant from the nursery your first year, because you just need to like master 5 things that you know you're going to eat, figure out how they work, figure out how to plant their seed, figure out what pests like them. Now you're learning how to identify bugs. Simran Gardening Vlogs, good morning from India. We are talking about a beginner gardener. What are your crops that you would tell for in India a beginner gardener to grow? I would love to hear your plant list. John K. I still don't get it. Is it like the Heritage Homestead? John K. Wait. Oh. Are you talking about, I don't know what the name of that is. He was talking about he was doing an AMA. I think I know what you're talking about now. I forgot I was there this morning. I did homeschooling today and we decorated for Valentine's Day, and I have a lot my life in the day. I know what you're talking about now. Pretty sure. I can't think of what it's like a podcast, but they have a YouTube channel and it was live, and he was doing a Ask Me Anything, and it's always good when I hear John Kemp talking. It's so good. Your Brain on Gardening, reduce stress and boost happiness. There is the link. Save it to watch later. Cliff says to Carol, find a companion plant that those bugs like, love, and plant close to your strawberries. Or she just really can't go strawberries in that part of Florida because I have mulberry cuttings. I am sprouting for 2 neighbors. They are looking good. My green onion cuttings are sprouting. Have lots of fruit trees I am taking care of, and herbs. Must be a government agency. They love their acronyms and initials. Just type the name of it, for God's sake. Yeah, right. Dave Knight, welcome to this. And everyone, wow, it's growing. Dave Knight, my weather is -2 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm really excited we are getting snow tomorrow. I would like a whole bunch of it, please. Tonight's topic is beginner gardening. What is your recommendation to a beginner grower for your area? Like if they were your neighbor and they were like, hey, Dave, what do you think I should grow? How do I get started in this? That's what we're talking about. Or if you want to say, well, you grow your first year, go right ahead. Carol says companion planting. Yep, tried, but we'll try again. That would be a trap crop, though. Not sure most of my plants are trapping all the bugs. Cliff, they do great in central and northern. Right. Yeah, I think you just might be in an area of Florida that is not a good match for strawberries. So I have a mulberry tree that I found near us in somebody else's property. And we were harvesting from it because no one else was 2 years in a row. The tree got trimmed by a service that needed to clear things, like a power company. And I was like, and I got a little panicky and I started trying to take cuttings and figure that all out. And I'm so glad I did because after that, the whole thing went down. Like I don't know if it was electrical that caused it, if someone hit it with a vehicle because it's by vehicle stuff, but it got damaged big time. And so I took 3 cuttings and one of them looks like it's living because it's got leaves coming out of it and I'm super excited, but I have nowhere to plant it. We're just gonna figure it out. My newer mulberry cultivar is fruiting and it really tastes like the world's best mulberry. Dave Knight says, radish was my first when I was 6. Oh, what a lovely story. Radish is definitely one of those winners we've talked about throughout this live stream. 30 days after germination, you're going to have something to eat. Unfortunately, if you don't like radish, I'm sorry, but it's great. Definitely great for kids. I know with kids, they always want them to do a germination test with a bean because you can see all of it and it's quick. Yay, free mulberries. Yeah. Yes. I just don't know where to put the tree. So I have to go again in the spring and see. It's got to be alive still because the root's still in the ground. If it's going to start new growth, because it got really and it was perfect height. I could literally stand there and pick with my kids on somebody else's property. And technically no one was living there. Now people are living there. They don't even understand what that is. They have no clue. Spinach in planters. I love that. I want to hear more about container cropless. Keep it coming. Yes, the bean. We have a mystery seed given to us from a homeschooling co-op. And my son goes, don't tell me what it is. And we planted it. I looked at what the seed looks like and I have my guesses. And he did a germination on a wet paper towel in a bag. And then we had him mix up a potting mix, 80% potting soil, 20% worm castings. And he was super excited that he got to play with worm poop and moistened it, put it in a 5x5, and then put all the seeds in there. And it's under grow lights. I don't know if all the kids in the class have grow lights, but we do. And so they're doing great. They have the cotyledon leaves on them. They don't have their true leaves yet. And I go, do you think it's a flower? Do you think it's something to eat? He thinks it's food. I'm not sure what it is. I think I know. We'll see. But it's growing. It's growing. He gets to take care of it every day. And I talk to him about brushing the top of it Yes, we have a fan, but it's kind of at the other end. It's not quite on these. Oh, Miss Sharon, I bought ever-bearing strawberry crowns today. Are they going to take over the world? Yeah, the runners. Put a new little baby strawberry plant and it roots and produces, and then that's a runner. It really gets out of hand quick. This fall, I went in my strawberry patch that I've inherited and put rows in for walking so I can sit in the row and pick the strawberries because it's just awful trying to pick a strawberry jungle. So I put some more in the food islandy thing that I created on the one side of the property. And so now it's like this magical balance of, like, I have containers that I put the ones I took out of the ground in to see if I could give them to somebody, and I haven't found anybody yet. It's like, where am I going to put those? They're just in a container chilling until they're going to wake up in the spring. I got to get them a home. Carol would like to know what's the name of the spinach that you grow, Simran Gardening Vlogs over in India. More strawberries would be great for the world, don't you think, guys? Jack Beanstalk, I'm currently trying to preserve some plants that are in bad shape. It was a plant from their childhood. House had to be vacated. Forced sale. 30-year growth. Yard probably getting clear cut. Oh, save everything you can. Whether you have to dig it up by the root or take a cutting, a trimming, all of it. Here I grow green Indian variety. All right. Thank you, Simran. What else are you growing in containers over there? Probably peppers? Jack Beanstalk, I got some plants and a tree cutting from my parents' home before it closed. That is wonderful. Grant McIntosh, amazes me. Most strawberry farmers plant new every year or other. Isn't that crazy? Simran Gardening Vlogs, I preserve fenugreek leaves by drying them and put in airtight bottles. Lovely. That's another avenue of learning when you're growing something. First, you learn what the seed is, then you learn how to grow it. You learn about its pests and companions and things that happen, what it likes for water, air, soil, temperature, nutrients, sunlight exposure. Then it's okay, when is it ready to pick? When can I eat it? And then it's the next step of preserving it or cooking with it or creating different flavor profiles, what goes well with it. It's just so beautiful, gardening is. Carol says it might be a heat-tolerant variety. Well, it would have to be. Florida, we grow Aztec spinach here, but different than the spinach on the lists. Homestead Aquarius, welcome to the party. We're talking about your neighbor. If they come over and they're like, hey, I want to grow, you know how to grow. What's on the list you would say, here, go get these seeds, go get these starter plants from the nursery, or share what did you grow your first year gardening. Jack Beanstalk, that's great. Preservation is important. I took whole plants versus cuttings. Better chance of saving due to poor shape. Yes, always when you can. That's for sure. Oh, and then the actual saving the seeds part of it. Yes, there's so much to learn. It's a beautiful thing. Homestead Aquarius is saying hello to everyone. Let's see. And we grow Malabar, which is like a viney spinach, and it's kind of slimy, I think, on the inside, if I remember right. Not a fan. And shiso variety, can't spell it. Much easier in our warm to hot climates. It's like all greens get bitter and yucky too in the heat, right? Simran, we here in India make pickles of carrots, turnip, and cauliflower and preserve it like that. It's a mixed vegetable pickle. Love that. If you can get all that to grow, that's fantastic. Oops, Cupid got anyone yet? That's a good question. We do have some themed decor this evening. We're talking about beginner gardener growing plant lists, and it's different all around the world what you should plant and shouldn't plant. And of course, it always starts with grow what you eat. Fruit trees. Plant fruit trees first, then annuals. Thank you, Homestead Aquarius. That was one of my questions was, do you advise a beginner gardener to grow a perennial? Do you even teach them about that? You know, we always talk about trees. You should have planted it yesterday. So thank you. Carol says, I dug up some of my dad's daylilies. Oops. Miss Sharon says, oops, nope, I'm hiding. I'm in hiding. Grant McIntosh, I'm just learning that some seeds are good to eat that I wouldn't have expected, like basil. I learned last year how to make basil tea, like fresh basil with hot water, brew it, strain it, mix it with ice, lemon. So good. You can store it in the fridge for like a couple days. Just have basil tea. South Florida Sunshine, the Italians make a pickle with similar veggies too. Very nice, Simran Gardening Vlogs. Yeah, tell us more about what you do over there in India with your garden. Oh, oops, says Miss Sharon out here. Cupid shoots around corners. It's got like a heat sinking. Let's see if we've gone through everything on here. We have a description, of course, under our live stream video. And for those of you in the replay as well, I have some books. What is it called here? Under books, The First Time Gardener, Growing Vegetables. All the know-how and encouragement you need to grow. It is wrote by Jessica Sowers from Roots and Refuge. I have not seen it or read it, but it's talking about the first-time gardener, and I know she's really good at explaining things, so check it out. And then The Backyard Homestead, which is the book I have sitting behind me here. Is it the best book for a beginner gardener? It just has so much cool stuff to read about. It covers more than beginner gardener stuff, but I think it'd be a good read. I also have videos and podcasts. There's a podcast called the Beginner's Garden Podcast, Journey with Jill. Never listened to it, but based on the title, it's got to be good. Check it out. And then a YouTube link to The Beat. The Beat is a podcast that they have a video of as well on YouTube, and I enjoy it very much. I have the links to the 3 articles we went over for the lists that talked about what to grow best, what was worst. It talked about different requirements and tips and tricks for growing the things if you want to deep dive into that. And we have some links to some of the live streams we've talked about, some more books that are fantastic, and all kinds of other things. Let's see here. Now, this isn't a survival garden list. Okay, this is a beginner's, let's get you confident in producing some food for yourself list. Calorie crops are more of a survival garden list. So my question for you all is, should we discuss this in the future? Should we designate a live stream to grow a survival garden? Let me know in the chat and in the comments below the video on the replay. Grow a garden in 2025. Take back control of your food. Like we mentioned in the beginning of the live stream, 1,908, I think was the number, recalls. USDA food recalls in 2024. Yes, basil tea, saw that from Roots and Refuge. That is definitely who showed me. Oops, full battle rattle. Jack, I didn't need to dig, took only potted plants. Yep, okay. I did take a bunch of Asian pear cuttings too. Bonus. Carol says, yes, but prepare your soil and know the growth and requirements of fruit trees if space is limited. So I love that you're talking about this. A lot of people plant the fruit trees incorrectly. So watch some videos, have a buddy with you. It depends on what kind of learner you are. Do you learn well from reading or seeing or listening? Figure that out. Because if you plant it wrong, it's going to not do so good. Simran Gardening Vlogs. I am in North India, so here winters are for 2 months and extreme summers. So I mainly grow flowers in winters and summers too, and some veggies in winters only. Yeah, it's good to know the timing of your area. Love the information. Carol says, oh, okay, Jack. I have a night bloomer that is potted that I need to baby. It is as old or older than me. Fox at Outdoors says survival garden / similar to what a victory garden was, is, and still can be. Should we talk about it in the future? Homestead Aquarius. The first thing I planted here was blueberry bushes, then strawberries, then annuals, then pears and plums. There's his list. And give us your zonage. What's your zone? Grant McIntosh says, I like it. Easy storage items. Will people eat vegetables that they normally wouldn't eat if that's all there was? And it's like, so for my example at my family here, my kids, okay, I have one kid that will eat whatever, no problem. So I'm going to talk about the kids that don't eat anything ever. It's the other two. They only eat peas during pea season when you can go pick them after they planted them. If it's a frozen pea, a canned pea, a bag of peas in the produce aisle, they kind of are okay with, but nope, they don't. They only eat the peas when it's in season. Miss Sharon, just thought about this 1,908 recalls is almost 3 per day last year. Wow, is that what it adds up to? You know, and they're like, oh, well, it's so high because we have this amazing technology now to find them, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, we should just grow more of our own food or locally find someone that grows food. You can get onto the search engines and look for farmers markets directories. You can look for community supported agriculture, which is a CSA, farm shares. They're out there near you, right? Richard, welcome to this. We're talking about beginner growing lists. What did you grow your first year gardening? Or if your neighbor came over and said, hey, I'd like to grow a garden. What do you suggest? Tell me, especially for your area, what would you throw at them? I would love to hear some feedback from Richard. Homestead Aquarius and lots of mulberry trees and peach trees. Jack says they wanted some trees, but they were far too big and established for me. I just met these folks while on a walk, and you're just volunteering? What? It's crazy. You're welcome, Simran. Homestead Aquarius zonage 7A, 7B. Okay. So if anyone listening is around that zonage, Homestead was talking about what to grow. Bye, members. It's breakfast time here, and all of you are invited. Oh, Simran. So glad you could stop by and share your knowledge from India. I hope you have a wonderful breakfast. Fox and Outdoors. Should mention I'm in Zone 7AB. I'm growing citrus here amongst a few fruit trees and a cherry tree. Fantastic. Beginner growing for 7A, 7B. I'm sure someone out there needs to know what should they grow. Saltwater Sunshine, I will be doing the David the Good type of survival garden. I do have most of those books because David the Good's teachings got me gardening again when I almost quit, but just Southern Hemisphere. David the Good is an amazing gardener, and he has a tractor now. I truly enjoy all of his content and all of his books that pertain to what I can use. Like, I obviously don't have the Grow Your Best Florida Garden, and then his wife came out with a Florida Garden cookbook. I don't have any of that, but I have his other books, which there are links to in the description below. It is a learning process with everyone. You learn every day as you grow. It's an amazing thing. Sharon threw out the math for everyone. Thank you. Yes, have a lovely day, Simran Gardening Vlogs. Here's some more math stuffs. We were trying to do math yesterday with our live stream was talking about how do you fill a raised bed and like how do you figure out soil, and I did not explain it well. And when it came down to the math of soil, like figuring out your volume for a rectangle bed or figuring out for a round bed you're using radius and pi and stuff, I did not do a good job, but I did provide links to calculators and explanations and stuffs. So I'm very sorry that I was a bad teacher with that. Oh, what's going on? Hearing things. Might have to cut it. We got 6 more minutes till an hour. Let's see if we can make it. I'll be right back, okay? Victory Garden outlines are similar to Northern Beginner Garden. Oh yeah, the chipper. I know so many people were like, now I have chipper envy in the chat. That was so cute. Fox Outdoors, Homestead Aquarius, mind letting me know your stately locale. City specific will not be requested. I'm totally a big fan, yes. I really want to be involved with his school. And it's not overly expensive or anything, but can I commit to like another subscription monthly payment thing? Mm, I do. I really want to go in there and see what he's got. You do want to get his wife's book? Well, it makes sense for you. You're in Florida. You should get it. You're back. Welcome back, Barry. Homestead Aquarius is talking to Cliff, Fox Outdoors, Alabama. And I'm pretty sure Cliff is still in, is it Arizona or New Mexico? I don't know if he moved. Sorry, Cliff. I haven't been keeping up. South Florida Sunshine, I just meant I'm not going to do northern survival gardening. Correct. If you're in tropical, if you're in rainforest, if you're in southern, if you're in north, it's a completely different crop list. That's why it'd be interesting to talk about on a live stream. New Mexico actually, but relatively the same environment. Oh, so I said New Mexico. I thought so. Okay. South Florida Sunshine, it's more than old StreamYard. I so want to join. Oh, the price for school. But I need maybe an LLC to write it off. Oh, jeez. I was trying to figure out if I need to have a certain license or LLC to sell t-shirts because I'm worried that there's a thing there that I have to figure out. And I don't want to right now. It's up to $28 a month. And then he had it on sale that one time that I talked to you about it, and I still didn't pull the trigger and get in there. So part of me is like, okay, sign up for a month, get in there and see all the stuff, and then cancel it. Because I get really like, of course it's worth it. Of course David the Good is worth $28 a month. Of course. But can I click the button? No, I can't. I can't click it. Any last wonderful beginner advice? Someone's going to watch this on the replay and they're going to want to know what to grow. Don't forget to check out shawneegrows.com. I have a free square foot planting guide, and I have a garden planning checklist printable that goes along with the live stream to help you kind of get it out of here onto paper. And another one that is how to grow a salad garden. So it can be in ground, it can be raised bed, it can be in a container. You just might need to take some of the crops out of there. I have how to grow them, how many to grow in the space, plus some fun other extras. Again, check out the description for all the links to the articles and some of the items for gardening and books and things. And don't forget to subscribe. We're on a goal to 1,500 watch hours by the end of February. Okay, so check out playlists, share it with your friends. That's kind of why I'm going live a lot more when I have time. It's when I have time, really, but it also helps when I have something to talk about. Like button is nice. You should hit that. South Florida Sunshine. It's the access to him, totally worth it. But you have to have the income. Yeah, he like directly will answer questions and do like Zoom calls, and it's just I wish I could. I will someday, I'm sure. Curious Cat. Start with growing beans, peas, radish, a bunch of different lettuce just to get started. Fantastic. I like the beans and peas because they're a large seed. Large seeds are easier for beginner growers to figure out. And they are nitrogen fixers. They help feed the soil, which is the thing you learn as you grow. Radish are quick, 30 days, and you get something to eat. Lettuce, you can just broadcast those seeds and pick pieces as they're mature, as a baby or a large piece. Fantastic list. There is the ShawneeGrows.com. Fox Outdoors, I don't know why it wasn't listed, but beans is a good starting crop. Just need vertical space for it. I was like, what? Beans. Yeah, I say if you're panicky about figuring out trellisy things, just grow the bush beans, right? Ooh, here we go. Richard, first day of lockdown, I bought 4 peaches. Ate the peaches, started with trees. Another one that started with trees. I have peach, apricot, plum, lemon, lime, and an apple tree. Lockdown drove me nuts. Then I started a veggie garden. Tell me, what were the veggies you went into right away? I think fruit trees are super important because they take time to get established and they are guaranteed food every year, given climate doesn't interfere with the weathery situations with the bugs, but it's great. It's great. South Florida sunshine. For annuals, beans and peas, yes. Mixed lettuce instead of head lettuce and radish. Now, is that for Florida? Is that your grow list for Florida, Carol? Let's give us the lazy set it and forget it grow list for Florida, Carol, because I know you've got one. Grant McIntosh, companion planting, including with flowers, is a good topic. Indeed, it is. I'd have to go click on a button here. Just talk amongst yourselves, because I don't remember things sometimes. It might have been the garden planning checklist live stream 3 weeks ago, where we talked about what are companion plants, how to figure out how to plant them all in the same space, what ones do what thing. We can definitely deep dive, because what I'm thinking right now off the top of my head is what plant specifically brings in what bug. So whether it's a pollinator or a predator for a pest, like the actual, which one does that? We could talk about that. If you have restricted growing space for fruit trees, I suggest getting some of the dwarf varieties and putting them in containers, possibly. Let me fix my screen on the other side here, and then I'll get back over there. Okay. Yes, Grant McIntosh, Shawnee would do great with that. Yeah, we'll put it in the notebook, because that's how we do things. It goes from the notebook. I didn't bring a pen with me, but I'll remember. To I sit and I spend at least 30 minutes in one night, and I just get a bunch of articles. I get up a Word document. I start typing information that I like, and then I stop after 30 minutes. Another night, I'll come back to it and go, okay, title, description. Do we have good images? Because I like visual stuff. What kind of links go good with this topic? And then, I mean, it takes me like at least 3 days of back end work to put a live together. Just being honest, that's the way my brain works. And that's not a requirement for how this works. It's just how I work. You know what I mean? For Florida in cooler weather, yes. Okay. Berry. I personally don't like head lettuce. Most of it, even homegrown head lettuce, is nearly tasteless. The thing with my requirements for lettuce is I like pretty colors, different textures. Yes, it needs to have flavor. I like it to be succession planted, so I have some coming along at all times. My husband's requirements is he likes the crunchy, crispy ones, not like thin, wimpy ones. Curious Cat. Storms, I agree. I like the leaf lettuces, and there are so many with different colors. So, well, here we go. Lazy type, bananas, mulberries, chaya. Hope I said that right. Sweet potatoes, yes. Container dwarfs, great idea. Know your roots. For bushes, I just realized I have been strangling my blueberries. Strangling them? What? Backwoods Misfit, hello, welcome. We are talking about what do you want to grow as a beginner gardener? Go ahead and share with us in the chat. If you have experience, what did you grow your first year? Or what would you tell a new person, your next door neighbor, what they should grow in the climate you're in? Give us your zone. Richard, what was your veggie garden? Corn, spinach, cabbage, lettuce, carrots. Wow, those are hard. Those are all hard. Lettuce is easier, but look at all the beautiful white butterflies. Oh, yep, you learned real fast about that cabbage moth that lays eggs in your cabbage. And its lovely baby caterpillars eat that cabbage before you do. Good to see you, Backwoods Misfit. Homestead Aquarius. A good way to help friends. Hold on, I have to. A good way to help friends and neighbors is to share with them plants you have grown. I have given away many strawberry plants and fruit trees. It's totally a good encouragement. I like that. And we like talking about spreading the love of gardening in the community. I always had more than I needed by thinking of sharing. Indeed. Yes, blueberries have more shallow roots that spread horizontally. How are you strangling them? I'm so lost. Were they in a container? How do you strangle a blueberry? That's the part where I was like, what? I hope I get some blueberries. Peppers? Peppers? Is this a typo? Is this code word? You can say what you really want to grow. It's okay. South Florida sunshine. Yes, summer annuals, peppers, okra, tomatoes, the Everglades. Man, David the Good just was talking about how he had Everglades tomatoes ransack, take over part of his greenhouse. I thought that was funny. Peppers, okra, tomatoes for the summer in Florida. All right. They were in a pot. Okay, yeah. Okay, it was the container. Wrong container. For what's your plan now? Did you get a different container? Because I'm guessing you're not putting them in the ground. Because then you can move. Southeast Missouri. What zone is that, everybody? And peppers. Yes. And this year, new, the green stuff. Yes. We refer to that as smoked salmon in Canada. Or there's another joke where we call it dock plants. That's kind of a personal inside joke with a specific grower. So if anyone has any tips or tricks for that'd be great. Richard, upstairs at my office, I used old tires, filled them with soil, and grew tomatoes, chilies, rosemary, and other herbs. Herbs are difficult to grow. Yes, herb seeds are tiny and they take a very long time to germinate. I just participated with the traditional School of Skills. What is that place called? It's online. It was a free class with, is it Brian Cohen is his name? Sorry, I don't remember the details. It was this week. Barry, do you remember? Did you go? Did you listen to it? And he went over growing herbs. It was a whole class on that. And I learned that a lot of those seeds for herbs take like 21 days to germinate. So it's like you have to really start them ahead of time. So my advice for herbs is just go buy starts that are already started, that are like this tall, and then transplant them out. And if they survive in the ground or in your container or in your raised bed and they keep going, great. You know what I mean? The everyday life of an OCD-ish chick. Welcome to this. I see we have a couple of new people in. I just have to say this one more time, a couple more times. How many food recalls were there in 2024, everybody? Is the number shocking to you? The USDA said in the United States of America, 1,908 food recalls were in 2024. So let's get growing in 2025. We're talking about a beginner planting list. We want to hear from you. What would you tell a first-year gardener, your neighbor in your zone, what the list is for success, and what did you plant in your first year? That's what we're chit-chatting about. Good to see everybody here on this Thursday night. Figure out where I am in the chat. Okay, basil 2, oregano, and possibly putting them in the ground just 2 as an experiment. We like experiments here. Jack says I used a netting on blackberries, lettuce, and other plants to prevent the moths. Near 0 now each year. I think I want to do that because I'm not, I don't live where my garden is. So to hand pick stuff off or wash them off with a solution, I could just put hoops and net up, right? And I haven't decided where to buy that from. And I don't want to just make my own. I just want to buy the setup and put it in the ground. You know what I mean? Good to see ya. Hello, everyone. I might have to sneeze. Foxit Outdoors 2, South Florida Sunshine. Basil gets huge when planted in the ground. I did that in a raised bed and the thing got like 6 feet tall and 4 feet wide. So there are many different types of basil. Is it Everglade? Ever Tower is a really big one. There's leaf basil, like leaf basil versus leaf. There's purple basil. There's basil that smells like licorice. There's my cord might be hitting the mic. I'm sorry if that's a noise you hear. We have the everyday life of an OCD-ish chick says my tarragon is taking so long to germinate. I am patient though. That is another lesson we learn as growers, as gardeners, the patience. The patience. Thank you, Curious Cat, for the reminder as you're coming in and heading out. Hit the like button. Okay, Barry. Sorry. No, I didn't. Oh, that's okay. I have been dealing with, right, yeah, personal stuff. Haven't had time to breathe. I get it. I would like you to take a minute right now, Barry, and breathe. Breathe in. Hold. Let it go. You can breathe here. It's okay. Yes. Where you are here, it gets big. We're talking about the basil, but spring hits for the north and it gets later spring, it bolts. Maybe we're not talking about basil. I don't know. I know that basil likes to put on a flower, and that's fine. You can put it in a bouquet, and you just pinch it off if you don't want it to. And if you harvest the top, it'll bush out, and that frost kills it. Blessings, my child. Okay, my sinus allergies are kicking already. Is it warm? Are you gonna get cold again? Or are you done with cold? Fox it outdoors as it bolts. Just cut off the flowering tops and the basil will get fatter. Oh, she knows, Cliff. She knows. It was Genevieve's. Okay, that's your typical everyday. Yeah, everyone has Genevieve's. Got it. Thank you for clarifying. I had purple and the typical Italian cultivar. I could not recall the name. Going to be trying my hand at the purple basil this year. I want it just for bouquets. Carol says, thanks. Yes, someone told me that. And also someone said it's no good after, which was poppycock. I don't know what we're talking about. No good after. What is no good after? I don't feel like that's the basil conversation, is it? I don't know. Yes, my basil flowers quickly. Genevieve's was the Italian cultivar. Oh, okay. You love Thai basil? Oh, what do you do with it? Tell me. How are you using your Thai basil? I'd love to hear. Oops, it says basil is the secret ingredient in fruit stripe gum. Oh yeah, a lot of stuff is that way in gardening. It's so funny when I talk to my husband and I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna flower," and he's like, "Is it good or bad this time?" I don't know, because sometimes it's like you want it to flower to produce the fruit, but in some cases, if it flowers, it's toast, right? It's no good. It's yucky. So I say it just as a normal conversation, and then he's like, "Is it good or bad? I don't know." Hello to my husband on the replay, by the way. So Richard says, now I have potatoes in sacks, cucumber and tomato in 5-gallon buckets trained along the fence. Tomatoes and basil grow like weeds. In ground beds, I have patty pan squashes, spinach, and carrots. Look at you growing. This is all right now, right? Because this is your season over there in South Africa. Yep, Carrie's cat's having a moment. Remembers fruit stripe gum. Ty goes crazy here. I can't handle the smell. Thai basil on pizza, scrambled eggs, baked chicken. Sometimes salad blends throw basil leaves in there. Yes. Yes, you're growing it right now. Yes, that's the okay. Juicy fruit gum, I remember that, is modeled after the flavor of jackfruit, whether they meant it or not. We have done this for an hour and 15 minutes. Nice job, team. Getting the watch time hours. Again, I have a goal of 1,500 watch time hours by the end of February. So please. It doesn't get me anything. It just gets me closer to the the first step I need is like 3,000. But I'm just going to say, let's get to 1,500, okay? Somebody, Carrie's cat, wants to try jackfruit. No licorice in my eggs, Nikki. No. Yeah, there's like 6 or more blends of basil. You could really get crazy with the basil. Let's check to see if we talked about everything we wanted to talk about. It looks like we did. So for real this time, last final advice for everyone to speak. A couple minutes, and then I'm going to hit end live and find an after party and make some food. So hopefully somebody's live somewhere I can go hang out. Let's see here. I have a tree. It's going through flowering, but not ready to fruit. The jackfruit is a tree. Okay, gotcha. South. Funny thing is, I don't like licorice candy, but I love the basil. Now that's bizarre, because you would think that you wouldn't like it. Wow. And you are so lucky, Curious Cat says to South Florida Sunshine. If any of you in the chat are YouTube creators, please post your content schedule next upcoming. What do you want to throw out there? What's the word for that? There's a word. I just lost it because I'm hungry. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Put some things in the chat of if you want people to go there. Oh, what does this say? That smells so prevalent to me. It is why I can't eat pho and enjoy it much. Andrews Northwest Coins. Good evening, everyone. Hard times up here. Funds low. Family going home on Sunday. My son Andrew Jr. in the hospital. What? I just saw you live the other day, but I didn't stay for the whole thing. What? I'm so sorry, Andrew. You will make it through this tough time. We are here to listen if you want to speak about anything. We're coming to the end of our live stream, just so you know. How many food recalls were there in 2024, Andrew? USDA says 1,908. Okay, so in 2025, we are going to grow, and we were talking about a beginner growing list. If you want to have some input on that before we go, Andrew, I'm talking to you. If your neighbor was like, hey, I want to grow a garden, what would you suggest? Or what have you grown as a beginner gardener? Maybe you don't garden, and that's okay. It is good to see you. Anyways. Okay, South Florida Sunshine. I have a live tomorrow night. 11:30 Eastern Time, 10:30 Central. Is it? I don't know all the other times. So you know your own time zone. You figure it out. Friday, we don't have a title yet. It's a mystery. That's okay. It's okay not to have a plan. We're going to support South Florida Sunshine Friday night. There's no live stream created yet, I'm guessing, so we can't like get the link and get the notification. So you just have to be subscribed to her channel. Maybe 11. Definitely go over and get on her channel and subscribe because it's going to be there Friday night. She's saying it's happening. Andrew grows ice and meat, everybody. We've been here 3 days now in that hospital with Junior. Okay. I'm very sorry. It's no fun when a kid is sick or injured or it's awful as the parent, and I'm so sorry to hear that. Hugs to you. Today was nuts. Okay, we have another announcement. Storms, Radios, and Cats has no live stream coming up on Sunday. So maybe Shawnee will go live. We'll see. Catch his replay for his most recent live stream or watch some of his beautiful, is that thing called a drone footage of the sky on his videos. So connect with Storms, Radios, and Cats. Subscribe. Get on over there. Prayers for Junior Andrew. That's right. Okay, we're gonna end it. We're gonna be done. I'm gonna go make food, and I'm gonna find a live stream after party somewhere. Let's see what it says. Andrew, man, I'm tired of city food. I want my traditional foods. That is a struggle. That is a struggle. When did you say you're going home? Sunday? You're going home on Sunday? You still have 1, 2, 3 more days there? What? Good night, everyone. Carol says, good night. Everyone be well, be safe, and happy gardening, says Cliff from Fox and Outdoors. Jack and the Beanstalk says, just subbed at South Florida Sunshine. We'll try to pop in. Fantastic. The Everyday Life of an OCG Chick says, good night. South Florida Sunshine says he wants the meats or the seal ice cream. Well, no, we in the hospital know my family's going home Sunday. Man. Have a good night, all, says Miss Sharon. Y'all be good, says Homestead Aquarius. Thank you, says South Florida Sunshine. We will be here for a week. There'll be an end to it, and everyone will be back together and healthy and safe. Curious Cat says, good night, all. Sleep tight, whatever that means. Jack and the Beanstalk says, thanks for show, Shawnee. Have a great night, all. Yes, a week is a very long time to be in a medical facility. Great live. Thank you. Thank you. My back is sore from this chair. Oh, and I'm hungry, so we've got to go, guys. We've got to go. So here we go. What's the end little thing we always say? Grow every day in every way. Learn as you grow. Peace.